Minister, the Business Resumption Support Scheme, a new support scheme for businesses will reduce turnover as a result of public health restrictions, was launched earlier this month and is open until the 30th of November this year. Can you tell me the number of companies in counties Carlow and Kilkenny that have registered under the Business Resumption Support Scheme? Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. And I propose, as the Chair indicated, to take questions 6, 14, 16, 25, 37, 41, 50, 54 and 62 together. The Business Resumption Support Scheme is a new support for businesses impacted by COVID-19 and is administered by Revenue. To qualify under the scheme, a business must carry on a trade or trading activities, the profits from which are chargeable to tax under Case 1 of Schedule D. The business must possess a valid tax clearance certificate and continue to maintain tax clearance for the duration of the application period. Under the scheme, businesses whose turnover is reduced by 75% in the reference period, the 1st of September 2020 to the 31st of August 2021, compared to 2019, will be eligible to apply for a once-off payment based on a percentage of their average weekly turnover for 2019, subject to a maximum payment of €15,000, provided, of course, they meet the qualifying criteria. The payment is calculated as 3 times the sum of 10% of the average weekly turnover up to €20,000 and 5% in any excess of average weekly turnover above €20,000, subject to a maximum payment of €15,000. Registration opened on the 6th of September. Once registered, eligible businesses can make a claim at any time up to the 30th of November this year for a single payment via the Ross service. I'm advised by Revenue that as of the 16th of September, 420 businesses covering 438 trades have applied for the scheme. 154 businesses have claimed the BRIS in Dublin, 44 in Cork, 20 in Kerry, 18 in Mayo and 14 in Westmeath. When there are fewer than 10 businesses registered for any scheme, the exact number is not provided due to Revenue's statistical disclosure protocols, which support the obligation to protect taxpayer confidentiality. In Carlow, Cavan, Donegal, Kildare, Kilkenny, Laois, Leitrim, Longford, Monaghan, Offaly, Roscommon, Sligo and Wicklow, between 1 and 9 companies have applied for the scheme in each county. Revenue publishes detailed statistics each week on the operation of COVID-19 support schemes, which now includes information on the Business Resumption Support Scheme, and these statistics are available on the Revenue website.
Thank you, Minister. So on this question I have Deputy Murnane-O'Connor, Deputy Lawless and Deputy O'Sullivan, and I'll take them in that order.
I have a minute, Cathaoirleach, is it? Minister, this new support scheme for businesses with the reduced turnover as a result of the public health restriction is most welcome, especially the welcome that is open to those who may have previously qualified for the CRSS scheme. But my chief concern is that enough information is out there about what supports are available, and I know many schemes have had criteria that many businesses could not meet, and there was much confusion, certainly for those who came to me for assistance. It is important that we look at that carefully to try and help as many as we can, and I am concerned that this scheme is not very well advertised. And given those figures, Minister, I am concerned now tonight, I have to say, because I think there has been schemes that businesses kind of got lost in, can they qualify or can they not? So, you know, it is important that we have other schemes going alongside this. So it is important, Minister, that information and getting the businesses that qualify for this, that they are able to. I know there is a criteria, but that is important. But I have concerns now about the uptake so far.
I just deal with some of the points that have been raised by the deputies. Firstly, in terms of the number of companies and employers that have registered for the scheme, this does remind me of where we have been with the COVID restriction support scheme, which actually the registration at the start of the scheme actually tended to be lower than I would have expected. And when we launched the COVID restriction support scheme, for the early phase of that, I was asking the question why more employers didn't register. But what happened, Cathaoirleach, is towards the latter end of the registration, the number of companies that were present in the scheme increased considerably. So while I do take the point that the figure at the moment at less than 500 is low, it is what I would have expected, and the key thing will be how many companies are registered as we move into October, and we'll certainly look at that. In terms of the awareness about the scheme, I take the point that was made by Deputy Murnane-O'Connor. I think we will look at how we can publicise and explain the scheme a bit more, because it is a good scheme and we want to make sure businesses are aware of it.
Thank you, and thank you, Minister, because I myself wrote regarding concerns for many businesses had been locked out of the previous supports and asked what reopening it might look like and how long it might take for them to recover. But supports such as these are enormous help, and it is testament to the commitment of this government to the country to get it up and running, and I think that's so important. But I especially welcome that these schemes is open to those who do not have a physical premises, and is most welcome that we are all working together to support vulnerable and viable business. But what I think is most useful in this is the self-employed people and charities and the sporting bodies, which may have missed out before, can now access assistance. The COVID-19 crisis showed us that without doubt charities, community and voluntary organisations and social and sporting enterprise are at the heart of a strong country with supports that are vulnerable, and it is great to see supports able to avail of this, you know what I mean, and that's so important. Minister, you know yourself that there was 445 million collapsed of fundraised, it had no funding was able to happen for many clubs and charities, and this is most welcome to support them. Thank you.
So I'll take on board the comments that colleagues have made about the Business Resumption Support Scheme, and I hope when we debate this in the Dáil next, we will see an improvement in the registration figures.